Hi there, it's Meonicorn. I'm back today with another Chinese literature video. This one is supposed to be the March one, but it's a little bit late because at the end of the March, I don't have the time and the mood for film because one of my cats was sick and we have to took her to the pet emergency hospital and keep a very closely watch on her. And now she's better, so sorry for the delay, but the bright side is we have now 2 Chinese literature videos in April. Since I'm now reading for the long list of Women's Prize for Fiction and keep a very close eye to the Man Booker Prize International long list as well. And also there are so many other literary prizes are announcing their long list, short list, and also the winners. I thought it's a good opportunity to talk about some literary prizes in China and recommend some books to you. We have 4 big literary prizes in China and a bunch of smaller but also important ones. Today we are going to only focus on the 4 big ones and let's dive into it. The first one is called Mao Dun Literary Prize. It was named after the great novelist called Mao Dun and rewarding some of the great novels over the years. And it is the most important literary prizes in China. It is judged by the China Writers Association and rewarding every 4 years, and the amount of winning novels are not fixed. So some of the years you will get maybe 3 winning novels and some of the years you will get maybe 5 or 6. But all of the winning works have to have at least 2/3 of the votes. If you remember, in February, I read a book called The Last Quarter of the Moon by Chi Zijian, and it was translated from Chinese, and it's actually the winner, one of the winners in 2008 for Mao Dun Literary Prize. The second prize is named after the first person who wrote in modern Chinese, is LUXUN, and it's called LUXUN Literary Prize. It is a prize focused on novellas, short stories, prose and poems, and also essays and literary critiques. It's rewarded every 3 years since 1995 and also judged by the China Writers Association. But in recent years, this prize actually faced a lot of critiques because some of the winning works are not strong enough and people saying some of the winners won because they actually have some fraud going on, which I don't know if it's true, but the result is the winning works of LUXUN literary fiction is not very readable or not that well known. And also I think if LUXUN was still alive today, he'll be very angry. And the third literary prize here is called Lao She Literary Prize. It's only actually started in 2000, so it's more like a younger literary prize. It's rewarding some novellas and novels and also plays and TV scripts. This prize goes on every 2 years or every 3 years, which is a very weird schedule. And Lao She Literary Prize is actually only focused on the work which published in Beijing or which are written in Beijing, because Lao She is a very famous writer in China and he is especially good at writing the people who live in Beijing, so that's the reason. And the last literary prize is called Cao Yu Literary Prize, because Cao Yu is one of the great playwriters in China, so Cao Yu Literary Prize is an exclusive prize for playwriters. It was an annual prize from 1994 to 2001, and in 2002 and 2003 it didn't get hosted, and from 2004 it became a prize that rewarding every 2 years. Cao Yu was also the first master of Beijing's People's Art Theater, which is like a position like the president of the theater. Maybe you can tell here, all these 4 literary prizes are named after great writers, LUXUN, Lao She, Cao Yu, and Mao Dun, and they are all male, which is not a good thing, but they are all leading figures in modern Chinese literature, and I love them all a lot. China also got some other literary prizes which are named after female writers, but they are not the 4 big ones. I think we have a thing for 4. We have like the 4 great invention, 4 great classics, and now we have the 4 big literary prizes. Anyway, that's off the topic. You may think from the title that I'm going to introduce some of the award-winning books from these literary prizes, but what I'm actually going to do is to recommend some books from these 4 leading figures in the Chinese literary history. So they are all going to be modern classics. If you want to start somewhere, this will be a great start. So I have selected some of their works which has already been translated into English, and you can find them either on Amazon or Book Depository, and also maybe your library. The first book is by Mao Dun and it's called The Shop of Lin Family and the Silkworms. It is a short story collection Well, I actually didn't read a lot of Mao Dun's work, so I haven't read this one. But this one got the highest rating in a Chinese reading community, online community, so it's supposed to be a very good one. It's a collection of short stories set in the Republic of China period, and the two titled ones, The Shop of the Lin Family and The Spring Silkworms, are set in a town called Wuzhen, which is located in the southern part of China. It's a watery town, if that makes sense. So in Wuzhen, people sometimes take boat for commute, so it's like Venice in Italy. I have been to that town. It's a very beautiful and poetic town, and now it's crowded by tourists because of that. The book focuses on the people like merchants and farmers and how their lives are very difficult at that time. And it also has a lot of politics in the book. It shows us how frequent the normal people need to involve in politics in order to survive. I think it will be a very eye-opening and breathtaking book. And the second prize is named after LUXUN, and we always study his works, especially the essays in class, at least in my generation. And we all know our feelings towards the requirement readings, but I actually really enjoyed his books, even though they are requirement readings and sometimes we need to recite it. And some of LUXUN's books are actually selected into the Penguin Black Classic series, and the one I got on hand is The Real Story of IQ and Other Tales of China, the complete fiction of LUXUN. The one I want to recommend today is called Diaries of a Madman and Other Stories. It is categorized as short fiction, short story collection in English, but it's actually the first novel written in modern Chinese. In China, we categorize novels, novellas, and short stories are all novels. We call them long novels, mid-length novels, and short novels. So this one is the first short novel, as well as all the novels written in modern Chinese. And the titled story, Diaries of a Madman, was written in 1918, 6 years after the last feudalism dynasty ended, Qing dynasty. It shows the people's resistance for the feudalism social structure and how people was devalued under that society. It's a fictional work, but it's also a call for revolution to people who live in the real world. And the third literary prize is called Lao She Literary Prize. And Lao She, as I mentioned, is really good at writing the poor people who live in Beijing in the first half of the 20th century. And his character development are brilliant, and also his works are full of vivid daily life. He actually got 2 books selected into the Penguin Modern Classics series, and they are Mr. Ma and His Son, and also Cat Country. But the book I want to recommend today is called Tea House. It's actually one of Lao She's plays, because Lao She's plays are very popular in China and most of them are still on stage now. Tea House is talking about the story happened in a traditional Chinese tea house called Yu Tai, and it has 3 acts. But all of the things happened in the tea house, so the settings were the same, but they have totally different time periods, including at the end of Qing dynasty, China under warlordism, and also after the Second World War. Although the time period is different, but it actually focuses on the same group of people, so you can tell how people's life was changing and influenced by the big social background. And also, I have watched this play on stage before and really loved it. So I recommend you to read this book, and if by any chance you can see the play on stage, don't miss it. The last literary prize here is called Cao Yu Literary Prize. And Cao Yu is also famous for his plays, and he was born in a very wealthy family. His father actually worked for one of the presidents of Republic of China, so he has a lot of opportunities to watch a lot of traditional Chinese stage performance as well as some Western plays. His writing style was influenced a lot by Henrik Ibsen, who was the famous playwright in Norway, and Cao Yu's most famous work is called Thunderstorm, which is a classic play and still on stage today. Thunderstorm is a story about 2 families where the older generation kept their traditional old values when the younger ones are already adopting some new ways of thinking and challenging the traditional ones. And also there are things happened decades ago which are still haunting these 2 families. So in one thunderstorm night, all the secrets disclosed and dramatic things happened, which shows the problems of the families and also the problems of the social positions that they are at. I have also watched this play on stage before with the production of the Beijing's People's Art Theater, where Cao Yu was the first master or first president there, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Actually, my favorite Cao Yu's play is called Sunrise, which I love so much, but I cannot find an English copy. It has been translated into English before, but I think it's got out of print. But I believe that Thunderstorm is also get out of print. But you can find the second-hand copy in Amazon or eBay. Cao Yu is also called the Chinese Shakespeare, so I was really surprised to find how little of his work has been translated into English, and I cannot find a copy anywhere. So I guess we need to read more Chinese books in English translation in order to open the market and have more books translated. And that's all the books I want to recommend today. I'm sorry for the delay, but my cat's health are the top priority among all the other things. And also, I hope you find this video helpful, and I would very love to know which one is your favorite literary prizes from your country that you want to recommend to people, and why. Please let me know in the comment section down below. And more importantly, happy reading! See you next time. Bye!